It is time for our first reading wrap up of 2024. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maura, if you did not know, and today we are doing our very first reading wrap up of 2024. I have to say, this month I feel like I read a lot of books that I genuinely really enjoyed. I'm excited to dive in. I read 11 books this month, more than I was expecting, that's for sure. The first book that I read in 2024, I think I just finished this in 2024. I'm pretty sure I was trying to finish this on New Year's Eve and didn't, so this is the first book of 2024. And the first book I read was Long Way Down by Kristen and Becca Ritchie. This is the fourth book in the Calloway Sisters series, but it's like book 9, I think. Addicted and Calloway Sisters. I gave this a 3-star. I love this series. You guys know that. I am a huge Addicted Calloway Sisters series fan. I love it. As much as I love these characters, I just felt like the first half of this book moved so slowly. It follows Reich and Daisy, which, as you guys probably also know, I adore them as well. It moved super slow, and the plot point that they were using was really interesting. So I feel like there was just so much potential for it to speed up a little bit more and feel like it wasn't 3 miles an hour for the first half. Obviously still wound up loving it because I love the characters and I have such an attachment to them. It just moved a little too slow for me. It picked up by the end, but it shouldn't have taken that long to get there. I don't have this book with me or on Kindle because I gave it to Kat, but I read Don't Let in the Cold. I gave this 3 stars. I wasn't really sure how I felt about this. I didn't dislike it, but I also didn't love it. It's kind of a thriller, but not like super crazy. I would assume it's probably like a YA thriller by the way it was written, but it's basically following these characters who are stepsisters. Their parents are out on their honeymoon, so they end up staying at this cabin that her new stepdad owns. There's like this prized possession there, and I think it's Albert Einstein telescope, if I'm not stupid and saying the wrong thing. Basically this guy ends up knocking on their door and they're like, please let me in, like there's a storm, like a snowstorm, please let me in, I have nowhere else to go, I'm with my dog, please just let us stay here for a little bit and warm up and then we'll leave and we'll get out of your way. So the girls end up letting them in, and then all these other guys like keep trying to show up and like break into the house, and then the house, they end up having to leave. So then they're just like out being hunted by these men basically. I didn't think it was a bad book. I just don't like this genre, and I feel like it didn't hook me enough as I would have hoped. It was just a little bit underwhelming, the reason that everything was happening. I will say I was expecting a lot more, but I was entertained, so I did keep reading. I finished the Calloway Sisters Addicted series, and I was so sad. I finished this on the plane coming back to Nashville, and I just sat there afterwards in the darkness, like so sad, grieving this book. I gave this 4 stars. I don't think any of these books were a 5-star. They were very close, but it was really just like the attachment I had to the characters and their stories and their problems and the troubles that they faced, and I just adored them so much. Another reason why I gave this one 4 stars is because it's an epilogue novel, so it's basically just here's the year and here's everyone's point of view of things that happened this year, and then here's the next year, and it just continues. This one wasn't really plot heavy in the sense where there was like a conflict they were trying to solve. There were some, but they weren't super major, so that's why it wasn't super intense. Obviously I read the entire thing. It's 10 books. I just adore the series. It wasn't anything crazy because there wasn't a whole lot of drama being added. It was really just kind of showing how their lives had changed over years and the things that they'd been through and how they got through them, which obviously was great. I was trying to like be cute and show you the book cover, but it's not working. But I read Mr. Hockey. This book, I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, and I gave it 4.25 stars. Like 208 pages, really short. I loved it. It was so cute and fun, and just an easy read. The FMC is a book lover and a hockey lover. Literally me. Hello, that's literally me. She works at this library and ends up having her hockey boyfriend, man crush, celebrity crush. Everyone knows that she's obsessed with this guy, and he ends up doing like this guest reading at her library that she works at, and she's like, oh my god, what is he doing here? They just kind of end up forming a connection, and he doesn't realize that she's a huge fan of him. It was just so cute and light, and I loved reading it. It wasn't anything crazy. Like a 4.25 in some capacity, some people would be like, oh my god, that's like almost a 5-star. It had to have been the best book ever. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just cute and fun, and I just had fun reading it. And I was kind of in a hockey romance book slump. Not this month though, not this month. But just know that I was struggling a little bit with hockey romance books, and this one was just adorable. And I would highly recommend it. Really easy read, and it was just cute. Fast read. If you need a book to knock off for the month, or you're behind on your reading goal, read this one. It's literally 208 pages. and it was really easy. Next up, I read Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch. I did not love this book. I think I gave this 1.5 stars. I was really excited about this book going into it, but it just felt like the plot was lost. I felt like it just kind of felt like a messy plot, and it was all over the place, and it took far too long to learn about the conflict. It was just the main girl and her sibling fighting the entire time. Follows Addie, who's visiting Ireland for her aunt's destination wedding. Ends up finding at this hotel that she's staying at like this heartache medication. That's a country song if you were wondering. She finds this guidebook called Ireland for the Heartbroken after she just went through this heartbreak that we'd never find out about until the very end. And it's just not as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. Instead of this following like her and her romantic struggles and like getting over a heartbreak, it follows her and her sibling relationship, which some people may have enjoyed. The whole back of it's about how she has a broken heart and she needs like this remedy for her broken heart. And it's really just about like a sibling relationship being fixed rather than like a romantic one. I just felt like it wasn't as clear on the back what you were actually going to be following, and that made it a little bit disappointing. I read Fear Street True Evil by R.L. Stine. I'm not gonna like really get into this one too much. I read this one and Love and Luck and the next book for a reading vlog. Nothing crazy. R.L. Stine wrote Goosebumps, so that's really all you need to know here. I read The Invisible Life of Addie Laroo, and when I tell you, I was so shook after I finished reading this book. I had this book for years, like 2 or 3 years, and I never read it. I was not expecting this reaction out of me whatsoever. Everything was moving so slow at first, so I think for that reason I was like, what is going on? Like, follows Addie, is born in France in like 1691. She ends up being set up in this arranged marriage that she does not want any part of. She ends up running away from it and then meeting up with like this shadow figure who basically grants her the wish of freedom that she's looking for, and she is so desperate for it that she's like, please, whatever you need, I just want to be free, I want to live my life, I want to do what I want, and that's it. And he's like, okay, well, it's gonna be for a long time. And she's like, I don't care, just like give me my freaking wish, I don't care. The only catch is that everybody that she meets forgets her, so she ends up going back home and her parents have no idea who she is. It's like she never existed, and then she's just going through all of these years with all these people not remembering her. She ends up having these like lovely relationships, meeting these amazing people that have no idea who she is. She goes into a bookstore and steals a book and then brings it back the next day and is like just gonna get a new book, like it's a library. And the man working there, he's like, what are you doing back here? You just stole this book and you're gonna bring it back? And she was like, how do you know who I am? What the heck? And he's like, you were in here yesterday. So somebody remembers her. And that's what this follows. I was freaking out at the end. Like, I just couldn't believe that this book took the turn that it did, and I just was not expecting to love this book that I had waited years and years to read for no reason. Literally no reason. I just didn't feel like reading it, and I gave this 5 stars. I read 4 hockey romance books. Am I mad about it? Absolutely not, because I loved all of these. So the next book that I read was, why is it coming up like this? Anyways, I read Unsteady by Peyton Curran, and I gave this 4 stars. I love this book as well. This follows Reese and Sadie. And so Sadie is a figure skater. She has 2 younger brothers, kind of has a messy family life. Oh, here it is. Yay. She has this like kind of messy family life, and she's supporting her younger siblings, so she has to be like this amazing figure skater so that she can get as many scholarships and grants and just try to pay less for college in any possible way. She's working a bunch of jobs, trying to support herself and support her younger siblings because her parents can't do that. She ends up coming across at her ring early morning during practice. She gets there early and sees this man sprawled out. Well, actually he's laying like in fetal position, crying, having a panic attack, and that is Reese. And she's like, what are you doing here? Like, what is going on? And he's having a panic attack because he had a traumatic incident that made him terrified of playing hockey again. But he wants to get back on the ice. He's kind of involved in these like coaching kids type teams. Every time he gets on the ice by himself, he has a panic attack because he was badly injured during a game. The relationship that these characters build was just so cute, and it's kind of reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She's very like emo-esque, and I just loved it. I was really entertained. I loved the writing. I loved the fact that he was obsessed with her, but not in like a weird way. He was just like, this girl is like everything and I need to know everything about her. And something he says very early in the book when they first meet is, I haven't felt anything other than pain until I met her. Okay. Then I read the entirety of the Playing for Keeps series. So the first book in this series, I gave 5 stars. I was not expecting this, but the first book is Consider Me by Becca Mack. This follows Carter and Olivia, and let me say at first, I was not hooked on Carter. I was like, he's such a clown, trying so hard to get this girl's attention, and then I realized how hot that was. Because he's like dedicating goals to her. Basically what happens here is he is really interested in Olivia because Olivia is Carter's teammate's girlfriend's best friend. And he is really interested in Olivia because Olivia has no interest in him. He's like, please go out with me, please do this with me, please hook up with me, please hang out with me. And she's like, I want no part, like I have no interest in you. And so he's dedicating goals to her, he's doing everything he can to get her attention. And it was just so funny. Like I loved his character, and as I kept reading the rest of this series, I realized that no character compared to him. I loved him so much, and I think about him every single day now, and he is by far probably my favorite hockey boyfriend of any book I've read. And that says a lot considering the series I've read and the books I've read. The second book in that series is Play With Me. I gave this book 4 stars. This follows Garrett and Jenny, and Jenny is Carter's little sister. So that was an interesting trope. I really enjoyed this book. I didn't love it as much as I loved Consider Me. While the tension was there when they were sneaking around with each other and Carter had no idea, Carter found out. I didn't love the way he found out. Well, actually, that's a lie. I loved the way he found out. I didn't love the way the story progressed after he found out, but I still loved it. I still loved this book and I still loved the series. I felt like there were little things that could have been done differently, so I knocked it down a little bit. Then I haven't yet rated this book because I don't know what I want to rate it, but this is the last book in this series so far, Unraveled Me by Becca Mack. This follows Adam and what was her name? I'm gonna lose my mind. Rosie. Oh my god. Rosie. Okay, so this follows Adam and Rosie. Adam is another player on Garrett and Carter's team. He's actually the goalie, but that is what Rosie does not know. They have such like a meet cute kind of interaction, and they end up meeting on a trail while she is walking a dog that she works for or volunteers at a shelter, and this dog is kind of struggling, so she takes it out on walks. And on this hike she meets Adam and his dog Bear. They just have a really cute interaction, very like low-key. She has no idea that this is like the top NHL goalie in the league, and he doesn't tell her because he's like, usually people just want to get with me because I'm Adam Lockwood and I am the goalie for this hockey team, and like nobody ever cares, and she's so interested in me and like my life, and she's so amazing and so cool, and I just don't want her to know, and I don't want to like ruin this. So she finds out eventually at some point, duh, because like of course. But what I will say I loved about this book, I feel like this is probably a 4, probably, right? Like around a 4-star. What I loved about it is she's a single mom. And I feel like a lot of books to try to like get you in like the single parent trope, it's always the guy. It makes him look better. You know, like the girls like him more because he's a single dad, and like, oh, poor him, he's a single dad. I don't like single dad tropes. I love a single mom trope. When he found out that she had a kid, immediately he was like, I will do anything for this child. Like I will do anything that you need me to do to take care of him. If you need me to babysit, anything. I feel like a single dad trope, like, yeah, it's cute, but there's something so much better about a single mom trope where the guy is like, let me protect this child as if it's my own. Not to mention how he defends her to her ex. That's something for another day. I had a really great reading month. I loved all of these books. I highly recommend a good 95% of them. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys very, very soon. I've already started reading for February, and I'm already so excited for the next wrap up because of the books that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you.